Good morning, grade 8, and welcome to another exciting edition of Reachback. This is Reachback 7 for those of you who are keeping track. And if you'd like to download a copy of this, you can go to tinyurl.com/reachback7g8 and access a copy in PDF form of the questions today. Today, Mr. Coyle, Ms. Gerard, and myself decided to do things a little bit differently this week. This week, we're going to do story problems, everybody's favorite questions. I didn't tell you what unit they're from. We didn't tell you what type of question they are. You have to use your brain power to figure out what you have to do to find the answer. So, as always, if you'd like to listen to the questions, I'll give you little hints and guidance as we go through them. If you have any questions or comments, make sure you ask your teacher for clarification. They're more than willing to help you out. And as always, when you're done answering the questions, take a picture of your work and send it to your teacher. On Tuesday, there will be an answer video showing you all of the different work that could have been done to attain the answers. Make sure you watch those videos and correct your own work. Question number 1 gives a story problem where it says Pat bought a shipping container to use as a shed in his backyard. He needs to paint all the outside walls and the ceiling of the container, but not the floor. The paint he will use will cost $65 a can, and each can will cover 30 square meters of area. How much will it cost Pat to paint his shipping container? So obviously the first thing we have to make sure we know is we need to figure out the surface area of this container. However, if we look here, and I'll take my highlighter, he does not have to paint the floor. So this area right here does not have to be painted, but the rest of the sides do. So my advice to you would be to use probably a net if you'd like. Calculate what the area of the container is, and then use the cost of the can to figure out how many cans he has to buy in order to paint the area of the container. Question 2 says, Mr. Bridges and Mr. Connell were having a race around the park. Mr. Connell, being the honest person, ran all the way around the perimeter of the park. So Mr. Connell ran all the way around the perimeter of the park. Mr. Bridges, however, cheated and ran diagonally across the middle of the park. So Mr. Bridges ran here, then cheated, went across the middle, and came back again. It then says, how much farther did Mr. Connell run than Mr. Bridges? Okay, so my advice to you is you need to figure out how far this is, and it's not too hard to do. Especially if I drew this shape here. Hang on one second. Well, that's the world's worst line. Question 3. Both cans are the same size. Which is more? All of pop A, so all of this pop right here, okay, or 2/5 of 3/4. So 2/5 is just a little bit less than half, so 2/5 of the 3/4 of pop. Okay, so not all of the 3/4, but 2/5 of the 3/4. Now, for those of you who need a hint, remember I did say the word of, so 2/5 of 3/4. Good luck to all of you with this question, but what one has more pop, A or B? All of pop A or 2/5 of what remains in pop B? Question 4, which equation has the greater value for x? Equation A, where negative 2x minus 10 is equal to negative 30, or equation B, x divided by negative 2 plus 10 equals negative 30. Which one has a greater value of x? Question 5, Will wanted to know what the best deal on Pepsi was. A small bottle was on sale for $1.25, and the large bottle was on sale for $2.40. The large bottle had 220 milliliters of Pepsi. Which is the better deal? Again, obviously, you need to use unit rate here to solve it, so good luck with that. And finally, question number 6, it says, give one example when multiplying two negative numbers is smaller than dividing the same two negative numbers. This is a pretty tricky one. But if I take two numbers and I was to multiply them together, when is that going to be the same as if I divide them to give a number that is larger than when you multiply them? Now, a hint is the numbers can be less than 1 if you want them to be. right? The numbers that you choose can be less than 1, but you can't change the order, right? Question 6, tough. It's only for those who are really, really dedicated to figuring things out. It's not that tough, but it takes a little bit of brain power. What two numbers can you use that when you multiply the two negative numbers together, you get a smaller answer than when you divide those same two numbers? Okay, good luck today on your questions. Stay safe, wash your hands, and don't let your boomer parents drive you crazy.